Hey, good Thursday morning. Thanks for logging on to BAMWX.com. This is meteorologist Kirkins with your morning forecast update. These are a look at flood watches and warnings across the Midwest this morning, and basically the entire state of Indiana and western Ohio is included in these, and that's for a very good reason. Latest look at real-time rainfall totals real quick before checking out the latest radar. Some portions of western Indiana here are already above an inch just from the recent rains, and that's a look right here at the latest radar. Heavy rain already working in across the northern half of Indiana, northwestern Ohio, and southern Michigan. And here, folks across southern Indiana and southwestern Ohio, rainfall starting to work in this morning too, as we mentioned. So not much dry time across Indiana and western Ohio today, that's for darn sure. And here's the latest look at the HRRR. Guys, it's basically a 100% chance of rain today. If maybe a tad bit less across the southern tier here throughout the day, but we're going to stay very, very wet. And maybe folks up here in northwestern Indiana see a little bit more but drier times, but folks across Indiana, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, Toledo, Columbus, Cincinnati, all the way down to Evansville, guys, it's going to be a very, very wet kind of day. And looking at the latest HRRR, just over the next 18 hours suggests 2+ inches of rain here across central Indiana, northern Indiana, western Ohio. I mean, guys, everybody's going to get in basically on an inch here. It's hard to ignore that kind of signal, especially with how robust this low pressure system is. So kind of picking up where the HRRR left off, I do think we see a little bit more shower coverage than what this is the 3-kilometer NAM, is showing right now as the rain showers wrap around the low pressure. Getting in by the time you're waking up early Friday morning, I think a heavy band of rain stretches from Evansville to north of Louisville, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, hanging around Columbus and Fort Wayne and Toledo. Kind of just depends on where the heaviest rain axis sets up. Kind of throughout the morning, that heavy rain band still lingering. Not everybody's going to get on the rains. I think folks further north stay a little bit drier, and folks further south and east stay a little bit drier as well. And then throughout the day, this shower threat does move off to the south and to the east. So another interesting thing to note is we're going to have a quick little pulse of showers here moving early Saturday morning across western Indiana and southwestern Indiana. I do think folks here across western Ohio, southern Michigan, and in the northern half of Indiana will stay dry for this from this event. So overall, rainfall totals, this is the latest look at the RPM, and we've used this quite often, quite frankly, because it's been nailing the system. It really nailed this past weekend, and here's a look at the latest rainfall totals. And if you can see here, these pinks and purples indicate 4+ inches of rain, and this is just over the next 48 hours. We know a lot of these folks are already underwater. Our thoughts and prayers do go out to folks who are dealing with flooding issues right now in saturated fields. But unfortunately, there's no way around this, guys. Most locations are seeing 1 to 3 inches over the next 48 hours, except maybe for the folks up here in northwestern Indiana, kind of on that northern tier. We'll see a little bit lesser amounts, but guys, it's going to be extremely, extremely wet. And however, we do have some dry time working in on the day on Sunday into Monday. I think we're going to see mostly sunny skies across the Midwest. Fortunately, we're going to dry out a little bit. So on the day on Tuesday, we've got a little bit of a disturbance working in. Tuesday and on the day on Wednesday, I think some showers, maybe some thunder will be possible. Something we'll just need to keep an eye on. Temperatures, though, I wanted to check those out real quick so you guys had an idea of what it's going to be like. Here's a look at today. Guys, we're going to be in the 40s, basically. Maybe in the 60s to the far south and across southern Ohio as well. But this rain is really going to put a damper on high temperatures today. 40s and lower 50s is the forecast for today. And getting in on Friday, 40s and 50s, more of the same. Quite chilly. It's going to be more of like a February kind of day, February, March. And then on the day on Saturday, a little bit warmer. I think we hit the mid 50s. We're going to start a little bit of a warming trend into the weekend, and then on the day on Sunday it will be slightly warmer in the 50s, and then on the day on Monday we're going to see a little bit more of a warming trend, slight warming trend into the 60s, not too bad. Wind, we'll talk a little bit about wind here. I'm going to have winds out of the northeast today. Will be quite gusty. Winds up to about 30 miles an hour will be possible across Indiana and western Ohio today. And then on the day on Friday, we're going to have winds kind of veering from the northeast to the northwest. I do think we see Some wind gusts topping 30, 35 miles an hour at times as well. So it will be quite windy today and tomorrow. And then on the day on Saturday, winds kind of chill out a little bit. They will be out of the northwest. I do think we could see some wind gusts up to 20, 25 miles an hour. And then on the day on Sunday, excuse me, that was yeah, okay. So Saturday and Sunday winds will be out of the northwest, gusting 20, 25 miles an hour. So you're kind of covered there with your temperatures and wind. It's interesting, though, getting into the week 2 time frame, because we mentioned that system moving through Tuesday, Wednesday, and models are doing a terrible job of picking up on any precipitation or above normal precipitation because it's got this big-time ridge down here. And if we know anything about a ridge, especially in a summertime pattern, you get clockwise flow over the ridge, so folks inside of this ridge stay dry. Well, what's interesting, though, is we get moisture that wraps around the ridge, and we also get storms that like to form right over the top of the ridge too. It's what we call ridge runners, and that's the kind of scenario I think we have here in week 2. Models are indicating basically the entire ag belt is dry. We're not quite sold, however. Confidence, yes, it is a little bit lower because we are kind of going out on a limb here, but we need to watch out for seasonal to normal to above normal precipitation riding around that ridge, and you can kind of see that here looking at the latest JMA weeklies that came out this morning, suggesting there is some kind of above normal rain signal there. So we'll continue to update you guys on this. Appreciate you hanging around with me today. Stay warm and dry out there if you can. Stay inside. It's going to be a wet next 2 days. So we'll talk to you soon.